So as we open today, I'll share my screen um, in case everyone doesn't know it. Everything lost is found again in a new form, a new way. Everything hurt is healed again in a new time, a new day. Change is, touches, touches, changes. Change us, touch us, touch us, change us, change us, touch us, touch us, change us, change us, touch us, touch us, change us. So we have this card today that is all about change. This is traditionally called the Wheel of Fortune, and not Vanna, whatever her last name.
Vanna
White's big
Pat
wheel.
Sajak, Wheel of Fortune.
Not hers, but this is the other Wheel of Fortune, way preceding, before it became popular on TV. And I don't know how to pronounce this. I would guess it's Shark Falak, which means it's the wheel of. Do you remember? I forget what. But it's comes from in a lot of Sufism, the Wheel of Fortune is described as a water wheel. So I'm just going to read the first part of this poem by Rumi because it's all about this water wheel that is the 10th card of the major arcana in the Tarot. We came whirling out of nothingness, scattering stars like dust. The stars made a circle, and in the middle we danced. The wheel of heaven circles God like a mill. If you grab a spoke, it will tear your hand off. Turning and turning, it sunders all attachment. Were that wheel not in love, it would cry, enough! How long this turning? So in that short period of time that I was turning, because I don't turn as much as I used to anymore, I was thinking, wow, I can feel that resistance inside to just go with this motion, this continual motion of change and shifting and just kind of want to root in and stop. And that is what Aida Hussein, who made these cards, that's why she brought in the whirling dervish. She said the whirling dervish is the one that can turn with the heavens, that can turn with this amazing reality of the universe, which is that nothing stays the same. It's always changing. It's always, this dynamism exists within each of us. So this card is all about, she calls it the card of belief, the card of change, the card of actually faith. And it's to me, it's that place of uniting one's little will inside of what I want to do with the universal will, so that we can really go with what it is that's happening, the change, the flow, the shiftings, everything that's constantly coming through. And I love Rumi's poem. If you try to grab a spoke, it will tear your hand off. So when we try and make things stay the same, when we don't want to change, don't want to go there, it creates innumerable difficulties inside our bodies, inside of our emotional psyches. There's that sense of like, that no, we refuse. And so it creates a whole cascading events. So this card is all about learning to go with. learning to find that dynamism within the self. And we will be doing more of this card next week, because this is the first card we will begin with in the embody and dream the universe. So
I have some more things to say, but I'll say a lot of them next week because it's more. But I want to say one thing about this card.
Okay.
Just leave it up for another second.
Sure.
With the dervish, because in the dervish you'll see one hand is up and the other hand is down. So they're receiving really the blessing, the guidance of the cosmos. They're letting that flow through them and then down into the earth in their actions. So it's a little about surrendering to that larger will and unfolding. But in that mudra of the dervish, they're turning, but there's receiving the grace, the flow of the cosmos through the heart, through your body, and radiating that out rather than that the small will or the small wills of all the different parts.
yeah. Wonderful. Okay, here we are back together again. So let's begin with our feet on the floor and really breathing that earth breath. When I thought about this card, I realized that the wheel of heaven, that aspect that is inside of us, is really, it incorporates all of the elements, except that it has way more of an emphasis on the water. But the earth is so important because the earth is about really becoming attuned to where we are right now. It's that groundedness. So we're going to breathe in and out of the nose. And with each inhale, we're going to really let ourselves feel into our feet and our ankles. And then just really letting them, on each exhale, really go down into the earth. Feel the heaviness, the rootedness. Because every wheel has some kind of a center, right? And so we're finding our own center through this practice right now, to feel in, breathing into all of our legs. Letting the exhale take us down, down, down. So we're letting that center, feeling it in the feet and the ankles and the legs and the knees and the thighs. And letting the heaviness just bring us more into contact with our own body, but also with our connection to the earth. We're doing this all the way up now into our pelvis, our hips, first and second chakras. All of our genital organs. We're just letting all of this area be infused with energy with each inhale, but finding the center within that. The center that lets us just feel that connection coming right down to the ground. And we can definitely bend our knees if that feels good on that exhale, to really let ourselves feel into the heaviness, the density, the weightedness that helps us to connect with center. And we're going to do this all the way up through our torso, through that belly, which contains our true center of our being. So we're really activating that center as we breathe into it, letting it be infused with energy on that inhale, letting ourselves feel the exhale, bringing us down, down to the ground, down to a connection with this earth. We are the center point of this circle of change. Just like the whirling dervish has to have a clear center to be able to turn with all of the revolving planets and asteroids, the whole heavens, stars. And then just let the whole rest of the upper body, your heart, your upper chest, just letting it become infused. Even your arms, your neck, your head, everything is infused with that life force energy, and everything connects back into your center, which allows you to feel your connection to the earth. Every cell has some kind of a center. You're feeling into that beautiful gravity that centers us. One more really deep, full breath of earth, centering our whole body. And letting ourselves gently just standing and preparing right now for water. Letting ourselves just feel that center so that we can actually begin to flow more. Begin to let in that river that is constantly, that water wheel that's constantly moving and changing inside of us, outside of us. We're all a part of this. So breathing in through the nose, out through the mouth. And as we begin to let ourselves just gently moving side to side, whatever movement feels good. We're going to attune our bodies to wake up to movement, to change, so that we have our center, but now we're going to move our ankles, our knees. We're going to let those move with each exhale. Breathing in and then letting the flow come. Really becoming revivified with each breath in, and with each exhale, we're really letting that flow happen again. Reinvigorating for the next change, the next movement. Just gently, what we're doing is really letting our ankles and our knees really come into that place where the flow is a little bit easier. It's like a warm up for a dancer. It's like saying, okay, we can do this to all the cells. We can go with this flow and change. Even our wonderful joints have that fluidity in them, God willing. So, and then the next place we're going to bring up that energy to is to our hips. And then really letting them move on that exhale. We can even see how the hips and the knees and the ankles can all move. Deep, rich, full breaths. And letting that movement, even though it's not a joint, letting that movement come all the way up into the torso on that exhale, so that through your heart, your upper chest, you're also moving just like you are with your hips, your knees, your ankles. Loosening up the body, letting the body begin to feel that changeability, that movability of what it takes to be in this dynamic system of this world. You can always let that inhale be that place of finding your center again. And on the exhale, really moving, really letting the unfolding flow of the body happen. And bringing up the next inhale all the way to your shoulders. And letting that part flow and unwind and really turn circles. And we're going to add on the next time our elbows and our wrists to it as we let the exhale unwind us. Let us flow with the upper body and potentially the lower body too on that exhale. Revivifying with each inhale. And one more time like this, all the lower part of the body and the upper all the way to the neck. And then on this next breath, we're bringing it up into our neck and our head. And we're just going to, for a moment, just move our neck and head in whatever way feels comfortable. It doesn't have to be flung around. It can be just gentle. We can move it as though just from the very crown part of us. We can move it from letting our head drop more. See what's comfortable for the head and the neck to do. With each inhale, we're coming back to center, revivifying, finding that center before we move again. And now for the next inhale, we're going to revivify the whole body and let the whole body move, flow with that exhale. Imagine for a moment, you're just going to let yourself flow as though one foot stays in the center. And you're going to flow around that foot. You're going to have one foot, it's just the center of the wheel. And the rest of your body is going to flow all around that foot as it moves. So one foot is really stable, and then the rest of you is that wheel, churning, changing. Sometimes the movement might be fast or it might be slow. One foot is the pivotal place in which we have our center, while the rest of us moves all around it. If you have your left foot, you can, if you don't, you can try it with your left foot and turning more towards that heart, because that's really letting the will of the universe turn you. The other way is, I'm going to create my world. It's the solar energy. This is the lunar. And then as you're ready, finding that place of standing still for a moment again, and just feel what the flow has done in your body as you've let yourself flow. And now we're going to add the fire breath with this flow, because the fire breath really will help to revivify us. So really bringing in through the mouth that energy that we need sometimes to stay on this path, to let ourselves be with the change. And then breathing out through the nose. That exhale is just it's just letting go. All the energy comes in on the inhale, and then we just let the body radiate out. And then feeling that foot again, that left foot particularly, let it stay in place. Feel it as a pivot point as you breathe in. And then it's right there, it's your center. So you can shake and wiggle, and that left foot just keeps you grounded. So we're going to start to breathe in now and let ourselves, as we take in that breath, on that exhale, it's kind of like we're just like a sail. We have wind, and we're going to move around that left foot. And then we'll take in another breath. And we, like a sail, we just move around that left foot. Might be fast, it might be slow, it doesn't matter. Let it be somewhat effortless. All the effort comes into letting yourself take it in on the inhale, and then just let the wind take you. Or the energy take you, the universe take you. And one more time like this. And then again, letting yourself just feel your stability coming back to that place inside where you can feel your center. And preparing for the last piece of this water wheel, this beautiful wheel of fortune inside the air breath, breathing in and out of the mouth. As you breathe this air breath, letting yourself still feel that sense of center. Bringing the center now deep into that solar plexus region, right around your belly button, so that all the rest of your body can just move on that exhale and be taken with the wind. Know you're being held deep inside with your concentration. On the inhale, feel the center. Feel the air blowing through that center. And on the exhale, letting yourself be moved by the wind. It can be in a gentle way. Sometimes it can be a big wind. It's changeable. But as you become more and more comfortable with the wind, let yourself gently begin to become that wheel again. You can use your left foot as that part of you that is connected to the earth. As you blow around, breathing in, revivifying, and then letting the universe take you. One more air breath like this. And coming back to standing again. And letting your breath find its way. Still deep, rich, full breaths. It doesn't matter if you breathe in and out through the mouth or in and out through the nose, whatever allows you to just be present right now, feeling that movement that is constant within the body. The body is never in stasis until we die. And then, really, not even then. It's just we're not there to be aware of it. So feel how we are inside the movement. We are one with it. With each breath, we're constantly moving. So we keep coming back to that breath. The awareness of the breath in, the breath out. And how do we want to connect with sitting down, with letting ourselves become more stable in a chair or on the floor? Just notice how we do that. It's all part of this universal expression of the wheel of fortune.
As you settle in, letting your seating posture be like the focal point of the wheel. Just letting yourself gently settle in while the motion is everywhere in the body. All the cells are moving, the lymph, the blood, the cerebrospinal fluid, everything's in motion, and we have this sort of sense or delusion that everything is static and fixed. So just so Yaya taught us so beautifully it's almost like there's earth and there's water and air and fire at the same time. There's that moving and fluidity. So we're sort of holding the parts of us both that move, that like to drop in to the fixed and the static and the repeatable and the routine, and the parts of us that just rejoice in fluidity and flow and change. Just asking them all to be here, that you want to embrace all those aspects of yourself while you bring your breath, this beautiful, fluid, flowing breath, into your heart. Your chest is soft and porous. And just feel the fluidity, feel the movement of the breath, feel the movement of the breath through and in and around the tissue and the cells of the chest, into the heart, the physical heart, and into the subtle heart. Although the body may be still as we sit, that can help us become aware of this more refined inner sense of movement, of motion. Maybe from all that practice, there's a tingling or a sense of dynamism in the body, and that moves us closer to the reality of the physical body and the subtle body, the bliss body, which is actually moving, just like the physical heart is moving and in motion. As we move into the sacred space of the heart, it's pulsing continually, and there's even blood flowing through it, and all the nerve cells are conducting, and so there's this dynamism of electricity and fluid flow and movement on electrical fire element level, on a water element with the blood, and on a earth level with the tissue and the flesh moving. So it's constantly moving and moving the subtle gases through there too. So all the elements are in constant motion in the physical heart, and then the subtle heart is there too, this gentle space of potential where the movement of the soul and the movement of the cosmos can meet the movement of our unique forms. They're really tuning in to the heart, the physical, the subtle, and feeling the dynamism and the movement. You're still on one level, and there's dynamism and movement on another. Like being the still point, and yet there's movement all through, in and around also. And just listening to these few words as you continue to bring your loving awareness, your breath, to the sacred space of your heart. The sun world dissolving. It's dissolving. There's a movement of fluidity. Bathing in moonlight. The moon is shifting through the phases. The light of the moon comes. That gentle beams flow and fluid, because any light is energy that there's a movement and a fluidity in the wave nature of it. Bathing in moonlight. Ooh. Dreaming while awake. There's the dynamism of the psyche, the dreams flowing through the movement of mind, the wind of the mind. And just noticing the sacred space of the heart today. And just being open to it being fluid and flowing in whatever shape or form this comes today. Doesn't necessarily have to be one from the past. And if you're in a sacred space of your heart, or a garden of your heart, or a temple or a mosque, just notice the movement. Let the light be there, the numinosity. Maybe there's a shimmering. If there's water, it's flowing. There's air, there's wind in the grasses or leaves, or there's a shimmering. It looks still, but you could begin to feel all the vibration. In the beginning was the word, the vibration, which is continual movement, the dynamism. Feeling the fluidity, the dynamism of the trees, the rocks, the shrubs, the altar, whatever the sacred space of your heart, letting it be alive, that high, that life is in there. It's alive, it's dynamic. Maybe it's shimmering. Maybe you just feel the vibration of it, vibrating, holding you, holding the subtle vibrations of your body. But allow yourself to rest and feel the dynamism of the sacred space of your heart. Still and yet dynamic and alive. And with all love and all respect, we call upon High Self, the angel of our being, to come into the garden of our hearts today for a time of communion, guidance, dialogue. But as High Self comes in, allowing the fluidity, it's like the unknowing, let yourself not know, just invite in High Self to come in whatever way today, whether you see, feel, hear, feel that presence, but breathe in the baraka, the blessing. There's a fluid flow of light, of love, of nourishment. Let it be dynamic and alive. Feel the vibration, the Shem of High Self, of the cosmos flowing into you, into the dynamism and revitalizing, bringing life to all the cells in your body as they're vibrating and all moving in their functions. And as you breathe back, breathing back this gratitude, this love, let it be dynamic and fluid with your exhale, feeling the fluidity of breathing in, the dynamism, the light, the love of High Self. Let it just bathe you in this fluid effervescence of love and light. Ooh, and as you exhale, just this shakur just flowing back, this gratitude. Feel the fluidity. You can feel a subtle movement inside. You can feel the movement of your inhale and exhale, or perhaps just a gentle pulsation. Nothing to do, nowhere to go, but breathe and flow and breathe in High Self and breathe back gratitude. Gratitude for the mystery, gratitude for this great cloud of unknowing, which is dynamism and fluidity. And you can feel, as you feel that dynamism, you can allow almost micro movements in your body, just gentle, that are almost imperceptible, to just mirror, to flow with the dynamism of the subtle body, the dynamism of the blessing of High Self, the light, the love. It's like you're becoming a shimmering. In conscious self, there's a shimmering. The shimmering of the brilliance of awareness. And just open, we ask for guidance, direction, high self, any information or guidance on how to find that still point, that anchor, and then how to open to the fluidity, the ever-changing nature of our world and our lives and our inner lives. Help us understand and help us accept the dynamism of life. We could say everything is impermanent or everything is dynamic, fluid, full, unfolding, flowing. And perhaps suffering comes from not recognizing the dynamism. That's when our hand gets torn off. When our little egos, that are all the different parts that are in their little patterns, don't want to surrender and relax to the present, to what's happening, to the larger direction, to tuning to the direction of high self and the soul. This is just human. It's okay. Feeling that shimmering inside, allowing that micro movements, just enjoying. Shimmering with high self. Inviting any selves that enjoy dynamism, that enjoy, like when we're little kids, some little kids just stay stuck, and to go from one class to the next is so hard. So we have those parts that, don't want to change and be fluid and flow. Then we've got other aspects of it that just love the fluidity and flow. So taking a moment to just invite all those selves in, the ones who love fluidity and flow, and inviting in all the ones that's just so hard and I get in a pattern and I want to go to the same restaurant, and the other ones that, no, let's go someplace new. I want to do my practices the same way. So the other one's like, no, let's open and let them tune and let them unfold. And this relationship has got to stay static. It's like, no, it's unfolding. Oh, the parts that grieve. And then we need certain structures, like a piece of jazz, a certain structure to our lives, a certain dynamism and improvisation. If it's too much, we just scatter. And if it's too little, we're too rigid. To almost imagine in one arm and one hand holding all the selves that just love the fluidity and the dynamism of life on the outer and inner levels. And holding in one other arm and hand all those selves that just want to stay with what we know and is safe, and the pattern and the routine, and there's a stability, and just feeling in one arm and hand the dynamism, all these selves that just love dynamism and change and fluidity, and in the other hand feeling all the selves that just want it to be the same and nothing to ever change. Just holding both. It's conscious self holding both. And seeing which one you'd like to focus on first. When you're ready, just taking your awareness to one of these and really opening up, bringing love, respect to whichever one. Just open up to their story, to whatever they want to share, and whatever support you can give them. You can stay in dialogue and communication with those if you wish, or you could move on to those ones that love the opposite, whatever that is. Just open to them, letting each know you're such important parts of this human dance. And open to the other one, inviting them to share, to ask for whatever help, just getting time to know these. As you're ready, back in, bringing your breath in and out of your heart, your physical, your subtle heart. Inviting all these selves to be there, to breathe in that breath of unity. So you breathe in the breath of unity, there's that fix, there's a breath that comes in and out. That's the stability. But then sometimes the breath is deep, sometimes shallow, sometimes it goes to different places, sometimes fast or slow. Feel the dynamism of the breath and the stability of that. Like the ocean, the waves come in and out, but they're never quite the same. Letting the two come together so there's a dynamism and there's a stability. Somehow, perhaps they're different aspects of the same reality. Particle, wave, dynamism, stability, fluidity, form. Inviting all the selves to take the mudra of that dervish and on the inner plane to allow that turning to begin to happen as they're ready. Some selves can sit out and watch, and that's fine too, but inviting the selves in who wish to turn. Joining in the movement of the atoms, in the movement of the galaxies. Everything turns. And then as you're ready, bringing your breath back, thanking all the selves for being here today, high self, all the basic selves. Really recognizing your continuing unfolding, how each soul work is different, how your being is different, how your psyche continues to be fluid and mature and evolve, and sometimes it's 2 steps forward and 1 step back, and that's fine. And as we're ready, we'll take a breath and we'll breathe into our inner lives with Hu, into our outer lives with Hu, bringing that potential of everything, letting that hold the dynamism of the whole, hold all the parts that are love to be static and all the parts that love fluidity. Take a moment, if you want to jot or reflect, but take that moment to reflect on your dream of soul work. And when you're ready, we'd love anyone who wants to share.